number of hydrogen ions released. In water solution, right? So this is important, and the formula is number of acid molecules ionized divided by total acid molecules into 100. So number of acid molecules for strong acids, we have already said that strong acids are those acids which will completely ionize in water. By complete ionization we mean, if the total number of, let's suppose if there are 10 molecules of acids, for strong acids all those 10 molecules of acid will completely ionize in water solution, right? So in case of strong acids, number of acid molecules ionized would be equal to total number of acid molecules. So 1 upon 1, it would be, alpha would be 100%. For strong acids, alpha would be equal to 100%. Right? How? Because we said that all acid molecules in case of strong acids would get ionized in water solution. So total number of acid molecules would be the number of acid molecules ionized would be equal to total number of acid molecules, right? In case of strong acids. Now what about weak acids? In case of weak acids, number of acid molecules that get ionized are less, right? So less than the total number of acid molecules, right? Say if we take 10 molecules of acid, only 5 will get ionized, right? So say if we take for weak acids means all acid molecules will not get ionized in water solution, only some will get ionized. So if we take total 10 acid molecules, suppose 5 gets ionized, right? So 5 to 50% is its ionization, right? This is just for your examples, just for understanding, right, what exactly we mean by number of acid molecules ionized. In general, if degree of ionization is greater than 30%, we consider that acid as strong acid, right? Now depending on basicity of acids, okay, one thing, depending on the basicity of acid. By basicity of acid we mean the number of hydrogen ions that get ionizes in solution when added to water, right? By basicity we mean basicity of acid. We have already discussed that when acids are added to water, they will produce hydrogen ions, right? So the number of hydrogen ions that gets produced when acid is added to water, that defines its basicity, right? Basicity is, we already know that acids when added to water will produce hydrogen ions, right? So the number of hydrogen ions that it will produce, that will define the basicity of acids. Number of hydrogen ions or hydronium ions, both these are same things, produced per molecule of acid. Let's take an example. If we talk about HCl when added to water, it will produce 1 hydrogen ion and 1 chloride ion, right? Similarly, if we talk about H2SO4, this will produce 2 hydrogen ions plus sulfate ions, right? Similarly, if we talk about H3PO4, it will produce 3 hydrogen ions plus phosphate. So this that produces one hydrogen ion. This is monobasic acid, right? And this acid, this is monobasic. This is monobasic acid. And the acid that produces two hydrogen ions in water solution, this is dibasic acid. And the acid that produces three hydrogen ions in water solution are tribasic acid. Right? So acids are classified based on their basicity into monobasic, dibasic and tribasic acids. Right? Now, one thing that we need to look here is there's certain exception for acetic acid and phosphoric acid, H3PO3 acid. Right? We know that acetic acid, we just need to consider here one thing, right? That acetic acid, it contains 4 hydrogen atoms. Right? It contains 4 hydrogen atoms, but when it is added to water, it will produce only one hydrogen ion, since we know that acetic acid is also a weak acid. Right? So acetic acid contains 4 hydrogen atoms, right? But when dissolved in water, this acetic acid will produce only one hydrogen atom. Right? It will produce only one hydrogen atom, and rest of the 3 hydrogen atoms will go with the negative ion, the acetate ion. We call it as acetate ion. Right? Clear? So acetic acid, although contains 4 hydrogen atoms, but it is considered as a monobasic acid. Why? Because in solution it will only produce one hydrogen ion. Since it produces only one hydrogen ion, that is why it is considered as a monobasic acid. Now let's take the case of another acid, this H3PO3. Right, this acid, H3PO3. H3PO3 is not a tribasic acid, since although it contains 3 hydrogen atoms, it is not a tribasic acid. So we write it as H3PO3 is dibasic, not tribasic. Why tribasic? Because someone may look at H3PO3, right? It contains 3 hydrogen atoms, so it should be tribasic acid, but it is not tribasic acid. Right? To understand why it's not a tribasic acid but it's a dibasic acid, we need to look at its structure. Right? If we look into the structure, this is the structure. I'll just draw it here again. I hope this is visible to you. Right? This is the structure, right, in which one oxygen atom is bonded to phosphorus atom via double bond, and another two OH groups are bonded and one hydrogen atom is bonded. So when this H3PO3 acid ionizes, it's only these 2 hydrogen atoms that gets released into solution as hydrogen ions. Right. I'll better make it here. This is how we make it. Right. So when this H3PO3, when this is added to water, only these 2 hydrogen ions will get ionized in solution. The hydrogen atom which is directly bonded to phosphorus will not get ionized. Right. That is why, since only 2 hydrogen atoms are ionizing in solution, so H3PO3 is a dibasic acid. Right. Why? Because only why? Because hydrogen atom bonded to phosphorus will not ionize in solution, right? So this hydrogen atom will not ionize, right? Since hydrogen atom directly bonded to phosphorus will not ionize, so this is considered as a dibasic acid. Only two hydrogen atoms are getting ionized, right? These two. This will ionize, this will not ionize. So that is why it's a dibasic acid, right? So let's just, because will be one thing I'll just introduce you, right, with the for the ionization of dibasic and tribasic acids. Dibasic acids is H2SO4. We'll do this in salts in detail. This we say that dibasic acid ionizes in 2 steps, tribasic acids ionizes in 3 steps. What it means is, like, this sulfuric acid contains 2 replaceable hydrogen atoms. These are 2 replaceable hydrogen atoms. These are 2 replaceable hydrogen atoms which will ionize in 2 steps. In first step, it's from bisulfate ion plus hydrogen ion. In first step, this is first step in which 1 hydrogen ion will ionize, right? Now in the second step, this will ionize by this bisulfate. Second step, this is second step. So we say that dibasic acids will ionize in 2 steps, right? First, this will get formed. Second, in the second step, again second hydrogen. In the first step, first hydrogen ion will get ionized. In the second step, second hydrogen ion will get ionized from here, right? And we also say that these acids, dibasic acid will form 1 acid salt and 1 normal salt. What we mean by that is, the salt that is formed from this bisulfate is an acid salt, and the salt that gets formed from this, the salt, if we add sodium hydroxide to it, it will form NaHSO4 reacting with this ion. This is a acid salt. Similarly, when it react with this, it will form Na2SO4. This is a basic salt. Acid salts are those salts that contain ionizable hydrogen ion, like here. This hydrogen ion was ionizable, that we know from the second step ionization of sulfuric acid, right? Similarly, if we take the tribasic acid, tribasic acids ionize in 3 steps. Tribasic acid ionizes in 3 steps. Let's see how. H3PO4, right? It will form. In the first step, first hydrogen ion will get formed, right? This is first step. In the second step, it will form hydrogen ion plus HPO4, right? In the third step, HPO4 will form hydrogen ion plus, right? So from here we have 2 ions that have hydrogen in it, H2 and HPO4. So tribasic acids will form 2 acid salt, right, and 1 normal salt that will not contain hydrogen. It will contain PO4 only. 1 acid salt and 1 basic salt. Right. This we will do in detail in salts, when we will do salts. Right. So I hope all this is clear to you. Right. Thanks.